All right, folks, Vitek here from Wani, and with us today we have a very special guest who is one of my favorite progressive icon, one and only Mr. Neal Morse. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thank you.
And I gotta be honest with you, like I've been listening to this album from last 1 week. In fact, I'm living and breathing it from last 1 week, and I have no idea what to say. It has blown my mind away. I gotta tell you, this is for damn sure this is your best till date. I gotta ask you, how are you feeling after writing like an hour 60 plus minute music, from last 1 year with me, with you, Mike? How's it been so far for you?
It's been a journey, it's been, we've been through our own little, Pilgrim's Progress journey. We had, some confusion on the way up. When I first had the ideas, the very germ kernel ideas, just, you got to get out of the city of destruction, and just the very,
Bits and pieces.
Just the little pieces, I was like, I don't know if we want to do this. I wasn't sure if the band was going to want to do it. And then when we got together, the band was a little like, well, I guess we can try it. We just kind of kept exploring, and this is what came out. But there was a lot of, uncertainty and things along the way. But now that we've come out the other side, we're all kind of just going like, wow, look what God has done. I guess that's what's so amazing to me about it, is how God I feel like it would just kind of set the whole thing in motion, even when we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And brought it all to fruition in such an amazing way.
Absolutely. You guys have already released the Long Day Overture, a couple of weeks ago, and yesterday was the debut of City of Destruction music video.
Well, so far, everything I've heard is just pretty amazing. I mean, like what you're saying, that it's blowing their minds. I talked with a lady last night that's a big fan, and she was just gushing over the City of Destruction video. She loved the video, and it just seems like we're on a kind of a really good road right now, and everyone seems to be recognizing it.
Absolutely. We would absolutely go in depth with the songs and the lyrics and etc. But before I start with that, obviously Mike has mentioned in several occasions that this is a landmark album for him, and I've been listening to it, I've been living with it, and I feel it's your best. So, but what about you? How's your take on this new album?
Oh, I think it's incredible. I love it. I love the choruses, the songs. There's really good themes and good fiddly bits. I love those too. But I feel like on this album, it's really about the songs. And I'm really excited about that. As far as comparing it to other albums, I don't do that even in my own mind.
Right.
It's hard for me it's like comparing children. I know that's kind of a trite comparison, but it really is. It's like, you love them all. I love Testimony, I love One, I love Solo, I love Question Mark, I love Lifeline, I love Momentum, I love Testimony too. I love them all in their own way. It's hard for me to say, which one's better.
Right.
Grand Experiment was amazing. And so, I don't really compare it, but I do really, really love it.
Awesome, that's good to hear. And a lot of music on this album, though it's new, it's different, has that classic Neal Morse sound to it. And obviously with now you guys being a band together, it's become more like a collaboration with Eric, you, Mike, and others. So how's it been so far in terms of contribution from the other guys on this album?
Well, it varies from piece to piece. For example, some of the songs, we pretty much played them just as I wrote them, or we maybe rewrite the bridge or something like that. And then others were Bill's. Bill had the whole germ kernel idea, and then we would kind of take what he had and shape it a little bit and work on it together. And then there was other ideas that were Eric's. Mike is generally the overview guy.
Right.
Mike and Randy are generally more overview sort of guys, and Mike is very instrumental in kind of shaping how the flow and the kind of the big view of the album and how it'll be laid out and all that. And that was one of the struggles that we had, was that Mike's vision and the rest of us, or particularly myself and Bill, really wanted to explore it further. Mike didn't want it to be a double initially, and so there was quite a bit of struggle about that. And you can watch it on the making of video. We actually put in some of the struggle parts, because when we want to document the making of an album, we want to make sure it's really taking in the whole picture as much as possible.
Right. It's really good to hear. And a song like Freedom Song brought back a lot of the bluegrass sound that were present on the Testimony album, and kind of felt me that you try to slightly revisit the past, but also explore a lot on this record, which kind of seemed musically appropriate.
Well, yeah, I just threw that out there. I was writing, that was on a Tuesday morning during the sessions. I remember it really well because that was the day after we kind of had our really, really rough day on Monday. I call it like, what was Disaster Monday and Miracle Tuesday or something,
Okay.
It was rough. So I wrote Freedom Song because I was trying to make the second disc really work. And I started thinking, well, there should be a song once the pack comes off the guy's back. There needs to be a song for that, and that. So Freedom Song and Running are both about that.
Right.
I wrote those during the sessions, and that was just what I was feeling as I just sat down. Like, well, what would it sound like, when the guy gets free, and with Running as well, the same thing.
Awesome, that's really good to hear. And I kind of felt that the background for choosing the bass of this album is on Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Wonderful. So, I was just wondering, what made you select this instead of the other pieces of classic Christian literature?
Someone suggested it, and I had kind of forgotten about it. It turned out later, somebody told me that it was them. I had forgotten who it was, but it was somebody that had suggested it to me on Facebook communication or something. And I don't check those very often, so somebody had emailed it to me, I think. Probably my assistant. And it just stayed in the back of my mind. And then when I started to just write some music last December, I remembered that suggestion, because I felt like I had some good ideas, but they needed direction.
Okay.
And I didn't even have the book, and so I looked up the notes, the Spark notes, they're called, basically the synopsis of the story on Google, and I started writing the germ kernel ideas from the Google Spark notes.
Right.
So it wasn't that the book. I still honestly I haven't read the whole book. I've only read about the first 80 pages or something.
Exactly, because even the press release I read mentioned that the album is based on the first 80 pages. So I was wondering whether there's an intention of completing the story in future.
Well, we certainly have plenty of material. The story goes on, and the guy meets so many people, and it's really an interesting story. So there certainly is plenty of room for a sequel if we feel to do that later on.
Awesome, that's good to hear. Lyrics at this point of time, Neal, are almost sounds very personal, like they're honest regarding the doubt, self-hate, and the real struggles involved with faith, which kind of took me back the slight bit of a Testimony days. So have some of these come to your life, from your life, or it's just simply reading into things?
Oh, sure. I put a lot of myself into it, into the lyrics. I didn't take it all from the book. I took the basic ideas of who he meets and the kind of struggles that he goes through, but then I personalized them majorly. Particularly I think Breath of Angels. There isn't really a section of the book that's quite like Breath of Angels. He basically sees the the wicket gate in the distance, and he sees this palace, but then he goes through all kinds of different things that I didn't go into.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went into, well, what's it like to what it'd be like to be looking at the gates of heaven? You know, what might you see? What might you feel?
Right.
And then thinking about him being burdened also, you know, I wrote those lines like, you know, this burden I've had upon me, it sucked all the life out from me. And, you know, I thought many times I'd reach the end. You know, I'm drawing on my own experience of the dark days of wishing I was dead and
mm-hmm.
all of those kinds of things. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of my own interpretation involved.
Right. I understand that, and then instrumentally, this album again has that great epic pieces which you, Bill, Mike, Eric, you know, you guys have put together. So apart from the vocals on the album, the instrumentation section shines out as well. So I'm sure a lot of time was spent on the arrangements and also the structuring of the songs and how they're connected to each other as we proceed into this journey.
Oh yeah, we spent. Well, that's part of the thing about a concept album. It also, you know, and Mike's a master at this, is constructing a flow that works.
Right.
It has to work. It has to work lyrically and musically, and it's just it's amazing how it all came together. I'm breathless.
I can totally understand. I mean, obviously, Mike's background has always been in the metal world or being known as a non-traditional prog drummer, but the ending pieces have that wonderfully dark and heavy feeling, which is even much more than, you know, your previous work with him. So was it like Mike's love for extreme stuff that came through, or was it just you telling him to do whatever he could possibly do?
Oh, I don't know. As I was sketching that out, now the band, what we wound up doing was a lot more. We kept like adding more. We kept, you know, people would throw out ideas. The whole band worked on all of it, you know. So we all threw in ideas about things to repeat and things to throw in. I had sketched that out on piano.
Okay.
During a snowstorm last February. We were snowed into my house here in Nashville for 4 days. But the power never went off,
mm-hmm.
Which was amazing because that doesn't usually happen.
Right.
If you have really rough weather here, a lot of times the power goes out. But so we had power. So I came in here and I sketched out the whole battle thing on piano, which it changed a lot from when the band got hold of it. But a lot of it is based on that original piano sketch. Yeah, and then I just told Mike to just go nuts and play along with it. And
all right.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. You know, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, I was listening to the Spock's first album, The Light. Obviously, the water is quite striking and colorful. So, you know, though you are at a different place in your life right now, do you have any feelings looking back at such early work as to how the music is still top notch and holds up well today?
Oh, well, I'm just thankful. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm amazed because, you know, when I was in my 30s, I didn't think I was going to have a career in music at all. I thought it was pretty much over. And so to be able to have created a lot of music over the years that seems to really be standing the test of time for a lot of people anyway, it's just it blows my mind. I'm so thankful. It's great. I'm just very grateful to God for bringing me through and giving me so much music.
Indeed, Neal, you know, you're taking this album on road. Obviously, a world tour is planned from next year onwards. So what is the plan for the songs on this record? I'm sure you can't play the entire thing, or is there a plan to actually do an album in its entirety?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's no way you could do this in a partial, I think.
True.
You know.
So it's going to be like a gig which is completely like the Similitude of a Dream in its entirety.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So that's definitely going to be a journey for fans to be part of it. Obviously, by then, you know, it would have been like a month or two for them to absorb, get well versed with it. And I'm sure you'll have a lot of fans out there who are going to sing along. Obviously, I'll be one of them.
All right. Well, we hope to see you at the gigs, man.
Definitely. You've come to India a couple of years ago. You know, you had your first gig here, and I was right there in Mumbai looking, because I'm right now in India itself, and I've seen you live, so I have no idea when will I get a chance to see you again this part of the world.
Yeah, boy, we'd love to come back. We had the best time ever. If anybody can arrange for us to come back, we sure would love to come.
That would really be great. And after all the tours, do you think like you would possibly like think about the next transatlantic album, because it's been a while, or you haven't just figured out anything so far?
It seems like transatlantic is still on hiatus. There hasn't been any talk of the transatlantic ship sailing again at this point. However, Flying Colors is getting together to write in December, and so we've got that to look forward to.
Awesome. So that would be probably the next side once you're done with the touring and stuff. And you guys just do it like in a week or two. I know due to the crazy schedule, you guys meet up somewhere at your place. I guess the last album was written at in your house, right?
Yeah, usually this time the Flying Colors is going to get together at Steve Morse's place in Florida.
Oh wow! So again, 1 or 2 weeks of session and you have the album ready.
Well, we don't know. We're going to have to see what happens.
Right.
We'll have to see.
Neal, I know I love the record. I wish you good luck with the release, and I'm anxiously looking forward to hear it live. Thanks a lot for sparing some time. But if you have to conclude, I know it's going to be difficult. If you had to kind of sum up the album in a sentence, what would you say?
Wow, that's tough. It's a very, very deep. Oh, I don't know. Very deep spiritual journey put to music and lyrics in a way that is very special. Very special.
Thanks a lot, Neal. Good luck with the release, and I appreciate that you spared some time today.
All right, man. God bless.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.